Welcome back, everyone. It is now the finals of Group B of the Path to Santa Ana. It's the main stage, and we're about to watch Pride face off against Windigo to see who will continue on to the final stage next week. I'm going to throw it over to our casters, Squid and Hawker.
Very last time tonight. Thanks very much, Nikita. Back for this grand final, as he just kindly said. Of course, there is a favourite to this, Pride. They've had a bit of a rest, sit down, probably watch both of those matches on train. Squared being pretty much destroyed and dismantled 2 times in a row there. Pair of 16-6s, if I remember rightly, or 16-6 and then a 16-7.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 pretty dominating performances, but now we see the big boys face off. Windigo, do you reckon they stand a chance?
I mean, they did look good there against Squared, but I don't necessarily think that that is enough of a reason to think that they're going to have a good showing here, right? Like, Pride are definitely a different caliber of team, I think it's fair to say. You can look at the Pride side right now, in fact, and see, I've been saying it all day, I've kind of been building up this team as Manice being the up-and-down streaky AWPer, and then you've got Morelts and Reitz, just the solid 2 players who are always performing well. And it seems like as well, not only is that the way the fragging goes, but the team play is certainly there on the Pride side.
Yeah, Pride pretty much have everything going for them, if my opinion is correct, in this matchup. In particular, pretty much every single game that they've played today has been fairly dominating. And coming into this final matchup, I don't see how it's going to be any different. I think that Pride definitely have all the cards on their side of the table. I think that they have them pretty close to their chest. I think the map pool pretty much favors them as well. Don't want to see any Mirage. I think that they will really take it home pretty convincingly and quickly if that's the case.
Yeah, and we can look at the Windigo side now. Of course, that man, Victor, going huge in the last game. Is that something that they can rely on against a team like Pride? Is it something they can rely on consistently? I don't necessarily know if he can be the only player showing up in that fashion, but certainly showed he can take over a game.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think so. I think Victor's probably going to be slightly overwhelmed by the more star power performance of Pride. I think that this might be a one-sided final. I know that you're supposed to kind of big up the underdog a little bit. I know Windigo have definitely shown us some successful performances both in the group stage, but here is a real challenge. If they can cause an upset and a stir here today, perhaps they could make it to this final stage and maybe face off against LDLC and AGO and other teams who have already made it to that Final 4.
Yeah, and I think they would certainly be a competent team there. I mean, we've seen them all day. I really like the way Pride set themselves up. So it's nice to see them have such good performances. They haven't really been tested too much, it feels like. It feels like they've been mostly in control so far today. So maybe we'll get to see if this game does start to get a little bit close. We'll get to see if they have that sort of next level to themselves to be able to step up, to be able to rebound. That's something that maybe hasn't been tested. So I think if Windigo, I was kind of saying over there in the bar, I think the way that Windigo have to take this is they have to get off to a good start. Otherwise, I don't really see them being able to come back.
Yeah, maybe if it gets to an overpass or nuke, perhaps Windigo might have an opportunity, but I don't think that it's going to be able to get there. But the best-of-1 format, even in this final, or best-of-1s, it definitely does favour that team with a deeper map pool, because you're going to be playing best-of-1s right in the middle of your opponent's map pool, right in the middle of your map pool as well. If you're a competent team who plays 5 or 6 maps, particularly well, and both these teams have pretty strong map pools. So Windigo will play 6 solid maps, not so much nuke, but we haven't really seen too much of this lineup yet. So maybe if they do want to throw a spanner in the works, it could happen right now in this. This could be what they've been preparing so much for.
Yeah, and Pride have shown a willingness to keep nuke in there in the past. They've played it a couple of times when they've had to, so Pride might be willing to go to a map like nuke. If they were, then that could, again, be a very sort of questionable map for both teams, to be honest. I don't know if Pride necessarily have proven themselves to be great on a map like nuke, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think Windigo are going to pull out nuke, but we can never know, right? The players could be absolutely pulling out something and we don't know about.
Yeah, they could certainly pull out all the stops, and that is one thing that the Bulgarian scene has always been pretty good at, is overperforming, so to say. Even when they've been playing against Tier 1 teams in the last couple of years, we were saying it earlier with the XE frag lineup and then Cirque as well, Bulgaria has definitely stepped up much bigger than its name. Pretty much suggests, and perhaps we might see that again today. It will be on train once more.
Ooh.
As Pride look to want to start on this CT side, but of course we've got an knife round to separate the boys from the men. Who's going to win it? Who's going to start on that very crucial CT side?
I actually said back in the bar as well, I would really like to see a map like Train end up coming out, just to see if Manice can have a great performance with the AWP on his side of things, just to get to see as well if Victor can sort of transfer that form into this game. I don't think it's too likely he's going to have such a great performance here. However, if Windigo can get off to the strong start after just playing Train, they didn't have to show too many of their strats T side, so I think this works decently well for Windigo. However, Pride's still favourites in my book. Yeah,
certainly, and starting on that T side as well, if they got off to a bad start, they can definitely be closed off fairly early. You can see, well, both of these teams having great performances against the same team. Pretty similar performances as well, but it's all about who can step up against the big dogs. Pride, 5 sets of Kevlar, not a single piece of utility to be able to throw into either of these bomb sites. Go for this, what looks like a potential A split. Tom up close to this Punisher angle. He's watching and waiting with the USP, just attentively watching this corner. Absolutely patient for the peak.
Yeah, still Pride themselves just waiting back. Of course, Tom is by himself, so he doesn't necessarily want to go down early on, but he does go for a little bit of a jiggle. Not quite any damage done just yet, but the rest of Pride making their way back towards B. Windigo do have 2 players there. And with no utility, Pride are just going to have to rely on the Glock train rushing the sites. Ships doesn't get that frag. Manice takes him down, and Pride, with a flurry of frags, find the openings they needed towards B. Just like that, the pistol round is finished. And if that's a sign of anything to come, then Pride could very much overwhelm Windigo in this T side.
A perfect and brutal pistol round, those Glocks showing superior over towards B. Felt like Windigo had the read as well. They had 2 players, a third rotating over, the fourth on the backtrack, but Pride able to contain the push and able to finish it off with all the frags getting out. The 4 AK-47s, there's a MAC-10 on Morzell as well. He's been playing it towards Pop Dog on the CT side, but here on the T side, it's Manice to fire up and shut Punisher out.
Again, Pride always going for plenty of AKs with their buys. And the one MAC-10 into the hands of Morelts. He gets himself a headshot. Going to see Spellan try and hold off the A play. Don't think it's going to be happening, though. There we go. Morelts doubling down with a MAC-10. Finds himself a second frag, building up that balance. And in the meantime, the push will come out through B, but Manice was there to hold it off. He does need to make sure he doesn't die, because he doesn't want to give away that AK unnecessarily, and he's only on 19 HP. However, Victor isn't really that close towards him. Pride are kind of spreading out here. They don't really need to do this. They might as well just stick together and make sure they have the best chance to save all the AKs. However, it won't matter in the end, as Tom just wins out and out with the AK.
Yeah, and another flawless round for Pride. They've not lost a single player in either of these rounds. It's been Ease doing a lot of the heavy lifting. 4 kills, initially a perfect pistol round for him, well, and the rest of his team, to be perfectly honest, and then an absolutely flawless second, trying to keep it going into the third as well. That MAC-10 still roaming, that's on Morzell. He wants to be the first man in. You see, he's just holding back towards A, probably going to be the final destination as they wrap in through Pop Dog as well, sending the AKs out first. Needs a lot of damage done as Spellan finds the first frag of the whole match for Windigo. But it's Punisher to put another one down. That MAC-10 getting plenty of frags. And even trading out there to that AK-47 at the last possible split second.
Here comes the buy from Windigo. We didn't have to see too much of their CT side previously, but we're going to have to see it here. And Bubble will elect to go for the AWP. On the Pride side of things, just going to be 5 AKs. Could be seeing Pride go for a fast play with the AKs, not wanting to get caught by an AWP. We are going to see a player push out into Olaf early into the round. Push coming straight through Ivy, and Manice does win that fight. But in the meantime, Windigo got some kills elsewhere. So even though the Ivy play goes the way of Pride, they still have to make something work with this map presence they have. Reitz is going to try and see if he can get a kill, but it's Manice getting his second of the round. Reitz needs to win this fight. If he does, then A could be very exposed, but it's Luz to get a kill, and a great flash from Reitz gets him the frag. And Ships will come through for the flank. Might just get one kill, but still 2 more to find.
1 versus 2 here, a crucial one as well. Could put them back in the running, back in the game. Ships, oh, misses that shot. 50 HP left as he decides to back off. Bomb goes down, needs to find another angle as he creeps and crawls his way in. Looking both left and right for Luz. As Manice down very low. Could be able to find his first frag, but he doesn't. Manice capitalizes 4-0 for Team Pride.
Early lead. I said we might see Pride continue with the aggression. They know they're up against an AWP. They know that Windigo might not necessarily expect it. And also, of course, Pride themselves didn't really lose too many players in the previous rounds. So they could take a risk in a round like that. They could go for some sort of fast play. And even if they lost, they would have plenty of money for a buy into the follow-up rounds. A couple of nades going to come into a main. But he's taking some damage, but also taking a head for himself. Makes it a second. Finally, he will get taken out. That was Bubble to finish him off. However, the damage is already done. The rest of the AKs come through, and Pride going to come out to a very, very fast 5-0 lead.
Ships with the Deagle, just trying to pop a couple of shots through. Luz to eliminate him instead. 5-0 for Pride.
Very, very standard stuff. Now it's going to be Windigo. Of course, still back with a buy, and this time the nades are looking better for the CT side. Bubble should also buy up a couple of nades, and there we go. A smoke alongside a flash. And so into this round number 6. Wouldn't be surprised to see Pride slow things down just a little bit. We are going to see Windigo themselves go for that one player towards B. We saw how dangerous that can be in the previous game, where Squared continually lost control of the B site. But Windigo going for aggression. Bubble gets that first kill. Trade should come out, but Bubble gets 2 kills himself with the AWP. And elsewhere, Punisher finds a frag. Looking good for Windigo to finally convert a round.
Yeah, and Pride finally being shut down. AK-47s are plenty, though, both with primary weapon. And it's Luz to pick up the bomb, back off. There's an initial headshot. Got to deal with Victor, who was an absolute monster in the first map, and shutting both down to put Windigo on the board finally. He needs to really step up here on Train. Of course, he showed proficiency so far. He isn't leading the charge. That's Bubble instead of the AWP, a very AWP-heavy map. But yeah, Victor needs to be an absolute star if he wants to pull Windigo through. And yep, they're 5-1 down, but they still have opportunities in this half. 10-5, not a score to sleep on.
Yeah, and we did see there, it was nice to see Bubble this time stepping up for those opening 2 frags. Very nicely done from him. Victor holding off, had the chance for the frag, but Reitz will avoid it. Elsewhere, damage being done. Manice taken down by a nade. However, Tom himself found a scalp elsewhere. Push coming into a main, and Morel's caught off guard. Windigo starting to show a bit of confidence. This is something we did not see from Squared. And maybe that's what will allow Windigo to get themselves a decent chance here. The bomb is down outside a main. They're not quite going to push through. However, with such a big advantage just in terms of numbers, shouldn't be too much of a big deal.
Yeah, Reitz and Luz, both AK-47s, yet again, same position, mirroring the first half, and, well, no, mirroring the previous round, sorry. And they've both got utility to use. That bomb dropped in no man's land means they are going to have to rotate back and find it with 50 seconds left. There's another kill for Luz, so putting another one on the board. 2 versus 3 now, as you can see he's cutting off that rotation, throwing a lot of confusion into the heads of Windigo. As Spellon spots like that smoke, big confused yet again. Is he right or left? He's actually neither, as he threw it. Threw a bit of confusion in, backed off, still on to B, and you can see Punisher might be that insurance policy rotating around. Reitz with so much space moves on to the A site, and Luz is actually going to get caught off right in the back. Punisher, messy spray, but finally connects as that bomb goes down. 1v3.
At the very least, of course, Reitz does get the bomb plant towards A. He's going to go for a flash, hope to get this opening kill. Oh, the flash doesn't quite get timed right. Victor will just about avoid the shot himself. So Windigo will get their second round on the board. The bomb plant does come in for Pride to help their money a little bit more. And Victor will save the AWP for Windigo. An AK also recovered. That's why they were delaying the defuse. The defuse will now come through. Let's see what the money is like on the Pride side. I believe, especially with the bomb plant, they should still be with a buy. Indeed, a lot of money still to play with. Even going to have an AWP for Manice. So certainly not too much of an issue just yet for Pride, especially, of course, going 5-0 up on the T side of Train. I'm sure they are not too worried about losing a couple of rounds here.
Yeah, Bubble with the AWP. He was the one to get the ball rolling. He was leading the charge earlier on for Windigo, and this would be a 7-0, 8-0 scoreline by now if he hadn't. Pride getting the 4 AK-47s out. Manice finally with that AWP. Bit of a change of pace for them. Instead of going for that 5-rifle setup with the execute potential, instead just going for this AWP as well to mix it up. Normally throwing it towards ramp, going for the drop down, trying to find that opening pick. Did it previously as well on the T side. To be honest, we didn't see much of their T side because they pretty much won the game before they even got the ball rolling. There against Squared earlier. Nevertheless, we might see a bit more. Remember their previous encounter against Windigo was very close earlier on today. 16-12, 16-11. Extremely close.
There is still a player pushed out up into Ivy. That's Punisher, the man there. But we are going to see Pride, by the looks of things, still group up for the A play. 4 players in towards Pop Dog. Could be somewhat difficult to make their way out. Victor is on the site, but he has to let them cross. And now Pride can get up close. There come the kills. 2 entries on towards A. And Windigo aren't particularly in position now to hold things off. You can even see Punisher taking damage as Luz himself finds a frag. Pride just getting a couple of kills on the push. Just really pushing as a team, finding the opening frags, and Windigo can't do anything about it.
A calm, confident push there. You see Reitz, although getting no frags, he completely rely on the player towards the left to actually pick up those frags. Tom was right there, and there's complete trust. He can watch his angle and rely on everybody else to hit their shots, and that is a pretty picture-perfect push for Team Pride on the A site.
Exactly what they would have been wanting. And on the Windigo side of things, well, it looks like they will get to save the AWP and the AK. Pride are fairly content with just keeping their economy as strong as possible. So Windigo will be able to get still a strong buy into the 9th round. Of course, on the Pride side, they are starting to build up a decent bank balance, but Windigo decide it's time for 2 AWPs on their CT sides. Bubble has been pretty good. He's only really had that 1 round recently where he's impressed with that AWP. So we might need to see a bit more from him in this upcoming round. But Spellan on that second AWP also could make a play. Out towards Ivy, though, we're seeing some aggression from Punisher by the looks of things. I think he probably has a smoke up, so he's not in too much of a pickle. And Spellan is also behind him with the AWP to help out. However, it does seem like Pride very grouped up around this A side of the map. Out comes the smoke. Oh, sorry, a flash deployed there. That does force Spellan off the angle. And Punisher not quite spotted. Out comes the smoke. That could allow him to fall back. Doesn't decide to do so just yet. The nade comes out, does some damage. I'll be interested to see if Punisher sticks around here. It would be a fairly big risk.
Train is one of the only maps where you can't really criticize the double AWP setup. Windigo actually spending both AWPs towards the A site and then rotating them back to B, back to the A site. Now Bubble has backtracked to B once again with this secondary sniper rifle. As Pride taking it extremely slow, just spending Tom over here towards Ivy as the main push is happening elsewhere. If Tom can open up with even a single frag here, he could cause chaos in the ranks of Windigo.
Spellan with the AWP, not positioned over towards Ivy, looks for a main, but Manice just plays patiently, finally finds that first frag. With 30 seconds left, the push comes in, and Reitz himself taps away, surviving on 1 HP. The smoke not quite where he wanted to place it, but will still get the bomb down with ease. As Luz makes sure he is safe. Oh, okay, Reitz decides to peek there. Didn't really need to. But there goes Tom. And Bubble will also miss the shot. Pride going 7-2 up. And I believe that Windigo won't really have the money. Indeed, it's going to have to be an eco. And Pride yet again, just they've been looking so good all day.
Yeah, that's the cost of the double up setup as well. So much money invested, and you can see both of those players have absolutely nothing left. The other three have a little bit more, but it's not enough to go for rifles, a full buy. Not going to be found from Windigo in this 10th round. Instead, just pistols, as Pride doing the damage elsewhere. Manai's picking open with this AWP, deciding to get aggressive against the pistols and even finding Victor. There's Morzel. Was a star on train earlier, and yet again picking apart the A site. And here comes a pause from Windigo, wanting a change of pace. You can see Ships, instead of just darting in and going for this peak, deciding to maybe use this as an impromptu timeout. They're probably chatting about the strat of the next now.
Certainly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Pride will get the bomb planted. Not too much to be said. Again, though, it's looking like, I think, something that is worth pointing out. We've seen quite a few times now. Pride have been able to get out of these rounds with every single gun being saved. That's done wonders for their economy, whereas Windigo, of course, when they've tried to go for the double ops, that has somewhat costed them. We're just going to see Ships, see if he can play for an exit kill. Maybe it won't be Pride saving all the guns this time, if he can find a frag or two. Ooh, Manise might not expect this. Pushing around the corner, P250 does go down. There's actually an ult picked up for Ships. So that's a little bit of a mistake. Pride maybe getting a bit too overconfident, not quite clearing everything. Well, I said that a lot of the time they've been saving 5 guns. That will not be the case because Ships just picks apart 4 opponents peeking in towards him. Tom, thinking of the aggression, decides against it. Of course, Pride have a lot of money, but still, nice shots from Ships with the ult.
Yeah, and here comes the pause. Windigo, a brief intermission before getting back into play. And you can see Bubble already getting out that AWP, throwing in this pause before this buy round. Of course, if they lose this one, Pride are probably going to be far too ahead to maybe even do anything. Pride almost on double digits, one more round. And, well, it's already a convincing half, but it turns from convincing to dominating to, I don't know, monster kill.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Monster kill. I can't do it. My throat's so screwed.
I don't have the voice for that, I don't think. Can't do it.
Monster kill.
Not bad.
There we go.
That's bad.
There we go.
You're improving.
Not going to be able to cast for the whole day, but...
It's only this game left. It's all right.
I cast in my sleep.
Ooh. That must be annoying for anyone that has to live with you.
Unbelievable. It's a second sheep.
Would you look at that? The sheep jumps over.
That's a brilliant joke. That's a brilliant joke.
Oh, boy. Looks like it's going to be a fairly long time out. There we go. They are going to unpause. We should be getting back underway. As we were saying, Bubble has the AWP, thanks to Ships saving it from the previous. I mean, Pride have just stuck with the AKs fairly often. That really tickled you, didn't it?
Nah,
like
James
that?
Banks is a great guy.
No, he's nice.
No, he is. That sounded sarcastic, but it genuinely wasn't. He is actually nice. But funny nonetheless. It's a good meme. It is a good meme. Luz does pick up that opening kill over towards the B side of things. Smoke and Molotov placed. Rotations are going to be a million miles away. Windigo being just locked out in Morzel. An insurance policy here, missing a bunch of shots, and Punisher is able to punish. Headshot of his own with the FAMAS, but they're already backing off. 20 seconds into the round. I wonder what they talked about in that timeout.
Yeah, that's what we've got to ask ourselves. I mean, it looks like Pride just want to get this over and done with as quickly as they can. Maybe Windigo were talking about what they're gonna do tonight. If they just want to take an early night, not a bad call at this point, to be honest.
Only 2 rounds on the board. Not convincing by any measure. CT side of train as well, probably the worst side of any map to have this sort of performance. It's going to be so difficult to make any sort of comeback happen. We said for Squared earlier that they probably need 9 rounds on their T side to even get going. Pride, it's a completely different story. They need probably, I would say 5 rounds, but they've taken almost double that, and they might get even more here. This is very there is a good opportunity that this could be a 12 or 13 round half, especially with Minis. And Tom picking apart A side. What a headshot! Bursting out, 4 kills, and Ships just like that left all alone.
Time after time, Pride are just continuing to pile on the aggression. Round after round, Windigo just not being able to do anything against it. Ships will not find anything. Again, so many times Pride surviving with 5 players. Windigo themselves, at this point, they might as well just force almost every round. They're just so far behind. They have to get something going for themselves. I mean, look at Pride. I didn't even mean to at that time, but they've got so much money built up. 10-2 in the leads. What else is there to be said at this point?
GG, perhaps.
Maybe.
Perhaps GG. Just a couple more rounds for Pride in this half. And Victor is going to take that first frag, burning us alive. And out on this A site, Tom has gifted a lot of space. Piles in a nade right behind Spellin. Does a little more of a tickle of damage as Tom isn't able to lock down that spray 4 versus 2.
Morelts does get one back, but Bubble going to try and go up. Oh, nearly goes down, and Morelts knows where he is. They're just throwing themselves one by one into the action. Finally, Punisher makes it happen. The FAMASs will just about close things out, and Windigo take their 3rd round on the board. I was saying previously in the bar talk as well, I think the only real way Windigo are going to have a chance here is if they get off to a good start. I was kind of hoping they would start on their T side, to be honest, and maybe go for those B plays early on. That didn't come through, and as soon as they've fallen behind, we just haven't really seen them be able to switch too much up. They haven't really been able to gain the confidence, even after playing Train so well previously.
Now they're stuck in a position where they need the last 2 rounds, need a pistol as well. There are so many caveats for them to be able to take this one back, and Pride just not letting up on the pressure. Once again, piling onto the A site, a pair of frags, and Luz almost finishing off the job. Another headshot for him. Pretty much completely blind. They are playing such aggressive Counter-Strike. And now Bubble, he hasn't got the AWP in his hand, but Luz is trying to wrap around here. He has almost spotted out this final member, and there's the shoulder, there's the back, the information and frag.
And more importantly, the round for Pride. 11-3 with Windigo not having too much to work with in the final round of the half. CZs across the board except for Bubble, who can get himself a scout at the very least. We are going to see Windigo possibly go for some aggression out through B. This is a switch up that I wouldn't have minded seeing earlier on. Just push up through ramp, see if you can catch someone off guard. CZs are going to make their way forwards. Looks like they're not quite going to commit to the push, but elsewhere it's Victor with his CZ over towards the A site to get the first frag. He's only good for the 1 kill, though, before the trade comes in. And now the A site is looking very, very exposed. The bomb is making its way forwards. The boost will come in through connector, but the CZs are going to struggle. And Bubble, with just a scout, only gets the tag. That allows Tom to open up with 2 kills. And these CZs not really going to get anything done. Punisher, okay, gets 1 kill. Now he has an AK if he wants to use it, and he will whip that one out. Oh, Spellan as well has a chance here. He hears the reload. This is an easy kill, surely. Indeed, it is. We're back to a 2-on-2, but just as I say that, just as there's a chance, Morel snatches it away and says no to Windigo. They only get 3 rounds.
Yeah, I said that there was a glimmer of hope that Windigo would get onto that 5-round mark and then take the pistol as well, find themselves at like an 8-10 scoreline, and then it's all to play for. You're trading F-gun rounds and trying to force the ecos, but right now they find themselves in a pretty dire catastrophe where they're trailing 9 rounds behind. They need a pistol round. They need everything from here on out. And Pride, 1 pistol round, and they're going to take it. They'll be our 2nd finalist.
Looks like it could come through. Or else, time and time again, he loves Pop Dog, and he's going to play it on his CT side, pushing up aggressively. It gets a lot of information for the team. He's actually thinking of going up the ladder there. That would be a big risk, but he's not going to take it. In the meantime, though, Spellan has the set of nades, so the bomb can try and make its way towards B, but look at the minimap. Rotation coming in. Still, though, Ships gets that opening with the Glock at fairly long range. Now Manise is going to look to lock down the site. Push comes out. Manise is spotted. There we go. Ships gets himself 2 quick entries. And finally, Windigo going to get something going for them. The pistol will go their way, so they will stay alive for a wee bit longer.
A wee bit longer. And obviously, it is about just clinging on at this point. Pride are so close to the finish line that they're actually going to invest into this one. Certainly don't need to. But there's the Deagle as well. Tom not going for armor, but neither does Minis. Everybody else with Kevlar, pistol, buy up, all the CZs. It's going to be Windigo going for this slight split. A banana split, some would say. And yeah, Victor looking a bit scatty. Didn't know whether he wanted to go towards A or B there, but there's the pile drive of nades that we've seen Windigo utilize in the past, use Valiance in the past as well. The one that I was asking Square to use earlier on, but nobody down, and Pop Dog to fall foul to that trap. And Pride going for the stack or all out of the action. And now it's about saving. They need to save.
Yeah, no real reason not to save at this point. I guess Manice with just a P250 doesn't necessarily need to save himself, but the rest of the team might as well just save what they can. Of course, Windigo already really far behind. Their money doesn't necessarily matter too much at this point with Pride already having such a lead. It's mainly just Pride being able to compete in this next round, which will be nice for themselves, and that should be able to come through. Windigo, by the looks of things, will also try and all exit together. Try and keep those guns as safe as possible. So that's always nice to see. Not risking losing any of those AKs unnecessarily. And there we go. It looks like no deaths in the round. Okay, I lied. Ruined it.
Ruined it. Oh no, the Casus curse. I'm disappointed. I have to say, hate to say it. Windigo have to invest into that AK-47. A complete disaster. It's only a joke. Doesn't really matter. It's only a joke. Doesn't really matter.
I didn't get it.
Grand final time, though. Let's turn up the hype. Reeds. Oh, 2 kills. Unbelievable. And Steagle does rain through as well. Bubble trades it back, but he needs a hell lot more. Spots out a scalp, but can't connect with the shots. And there's Beniz. These pistols actually doing the damage from behind as well. AK pickup, and Moore's going to find another one. All on Bubble. The pressure applied. Needs an ace, and unable to find it. Tom instead rips his face off.
You ask for hype and you will receive. Pride with just the pistols. They saved them from the previous rounds. And it's a good thing they did save them because they managed to win the round off the back of those pistols being saved. And so now, of course, they have the better buy. They have the AWP. The Windigo side of things even has Spellan just stuck on a P250. Looks like they are going to go in towards Brown Halls to start things off. That's Victor making his way forward. And there is only one player on the B side. Reitz is holding there by himself. Morelts again pushed up into Pop Dog every single time. He just plays one position. Eventually, he's just going to become incredible at that spot. He already has been very successful there. And it allows him to rotate up fairly quickly if necessary, which could certainly be a possibility because Windigo are all grouped up around B. So Morelts could certainly be ready to rotate if necessary, as the push is going to come towards the site itself. Windigo making their way forwards, and Spellan with the P250 gets the first kill. The B site is completely lost. This is the push we saw very often from Windigo in that earlier game. They took the B site very, very often, very, very convincingly. And it's good to see them still having success with that same B hit here against Pride.
And they will be saving these M4s. Obviously, you don't want to be throwing them away. Luz is going to find a frag. Regardless, ship's going down. One of the AKs wasted. Picked up the AWP. Spellan's on that. Obviously, Windigo. It really does help if they're keeping alive as many rifles as possible. Doesn't give away the win as easily as before. There's Morzell gone. 4 versus 2. Of course, Luz doing more damage. Going to be able to keep this M4 alive. Windigo kind of trying to chase him down, but Punisher's a little too shallow and can't connect with the head.
Ooh, looks like Pride might go for the force here. Luz has bought up. They will get themselves a fair few rifles, thanks to, of course, those save guns as well. And there is also an AWP into the hands of Morelts rather than Manice, interestingly enough. I guess he could afford it. He gets the AWP. It's only fair. Flash comes in towards a main. Punisher's going to hold this early on. In the meantime, Reeds looks to go aggressive towards B, but it is Morelts with that AWP to get the first kill. So many players in Pop Dog, but Reeds has pushed out. Is he going to get this frag? Yes, he gets the one and just decides to fall back. He can play safe because Pride have such a big advantage now.
A complete disaster for Windigo, losing 3 members early. Those smokes placed locked them out. No chance for a trade. And Spellin and Victor locked out of the action. It's Pride finding kills left, right, and center. Picking up a double up setup as well. And Moore's putting it to good use. Finding another and a clean round for Pride. Absolutely eviscerating Windigo. The Bulgarians crushed. And look at their money. They've got barely anything to buy. They're going to go for the buy regardless. AK, Galil, rest pistols, ships. What are you going to get? It's a Galil. Not much utility, though. It's going to be very difficult for them to go for any form of execute.
Morelts had a very good spawn to peek up a B, so he will decide to do so with one of those AWPs. Spellin is the man on the other side with just the CZ, but the molly is well placed just to make sure he stays safe. Doesn't look like Morelts is going to get a kill. In fact, it's Luz who goes down first. That was out towards Ivy. He decided to try and take that fight. In the meantime, Tom getting 1 kill back. Bubble bursting, trying to get a kill, but it's Manice who gets a frag himself with the AWP. You can see Windigo desperately trying to make their way forwards. They've left the bomb behind, but the kill's still coming in. As I say that, Manice gets the second. Not quite going to be the third because Punisher catches him off guard. However, Ship's now 12 HP, has to go back for the bomb, and has to find 2 frags with just the Galil in his hands.
Needs a miracle. One hand on the Bible as he rushes to the B site. He's got the bomb strapped to his back, but both players know he's low. Morzel's already primed him ready with the pistol. Reitz has his M4. Absolutely trained on this B site as he's even heard the footsteps. Here's the rotate. Oh, there's a leg as well. Luz going to finish him off. 9 match points for Pride to finish off Group B in absolute style. Pretty good style as well, like Calvin Klein.
Nice. You sponsored by Calvin Klein, any chance?
Soon, mate, soon.
Soon. I believe it. You are on camera, so they could send you some clothes. You'd wear them, right?
I already wear Calvin Klein.
Well, no sponsorship for you then. Shouldn't have admitted it.
Victor's pistol clatters 1 frag, but gets traded straight back earlier by Pride's AWP. Morzel finding that one. Leaves us in this 4 versus 4. Or pick up from Victor after Morzel's aggressive AWP. Doesn't pay off. But he's a rifler. Doesn't seem to have much hope or luck here as Ship's going to take a nice headshot as well. Level the playing field slightly as they do clamber onto B site. Manice
is here, does rattle off another shot, misses, but gets the dink. The P2000 not quite finding the frag, but Luz on the big flank does go down. That was a very, very important kill. And Tom now the only man left, 1 versus 3. Would be a nice way to close it out. You're talking about style earlier. This would be a very stylish clutch. And he does get that first kill to make it slightly more doable.
Oh, number 2 as well. Victor's got an AWP. As he might be about to make the magic happen. Pride. Can they actually close it out in this fashion? Victor needs to nail 1 shot, forces him off the bomb. But it's ticking very low as Victor forces a couple of shots out yet again. Knows that the defuse isn't coming in. Tom's been completely outplayed here. And he might be able to find this frag, and he does. Clambers 3, a nice 1 versus 3, but unable to defuse the bomb, and Windigo 1 step closer to overtime, but they're still so far away.
Yeah, certainly still a very long way to go. We're just going to keep on playing things through. Windigo.
That's a nice backpack.
Yeah, it's not bad. Oh, we get to see his shades now.
There we go. This might be Calvin Klein as well.
Maybe. Just the 2 rifles here for Pride. Not exactly the best advice. Morelts every time. Oh, he's left. He's left Pop Dog.
Oh, for the first time.
Oh no, he's back.
Maps,
he's back.
But only temporarily. He returns. And he's on this B site with the CZ. multiple weapons, tries to rattle off a couple of shots, but none accurate as they do line up for him. Nice collab, but it was only Victor to drop as the CZs don't pay off. It's just Tom left, and he's history. 8 rounds for Windigo.
Starting to get a couple of rounds here towards the end. It does feel like Pride were maybe cruising just a little. I think when we get back into these later gun rounds, we should be seeing them just make sure that everything is on point to eventually close one out, which I am very much expecting to see come through. Not, of course, in this round, though. Only a few pistols for Pride to play with. Oh, nice flashes over the top. Do blind a fair few players. There are a few players stacked here, and Morelts gets that first kill. Could be dangerous, and Victor doesn't quite convert with that frag, but there we go. The rest of the riflers will manage to find frags, and nice little shot to the foot there. Forces Morelts out. Spellan finishes off the 1-2 punch. Only Reitz left.
Yeah, he's got this CZ. No point in really saving here. It's going to be a buy round for the Poles either way in the next round coming up. And you can see Windigo just setting up pretty content here on the A site, about to get that bomb down. He's about to walk into this crosshair as well. Victor, mad spray, does connect. 2 kills in total. As Windigo, they are starting to put some substantial rounds on the board. That's 4 in a row for them now. Making it 9 and almost closing it to double digits. You can see Pride. Not a perfect buy. Miniz has got that mag 7. Normally he'd be dropping that to Moselle perhaps for that pop dog potential, but instead up close and personal here. Preliminary flash as he goes in with a mag 7. Bit tentative to go for this peak, but there's the first. Nails ahead, and that's Victor gone. This mag 7 so brutal at close range, and he's actually swapped it out to an AK-47, unable to connect onto Spellon, but at the same time, Luz, other side of the map, does find a frag. Morzell with 1 as well. Pride might be about to close this out. Chips in over exactly where he is. Punisher, 9 HP, no chance. 16-9 to Pride. They're going to take this group pretty cleanly, pretty convincingly, and they will be going to our final stage.
Yeah, they never looked too tested throughout the entire tournament, so it'll be really nice to see them there to see if they do get pushed to the edge, how they can perform. And overall, just a very good showing from Pride all round. They didn't really need anyone to hard carry them. It was just the team play and the whole team showing up.
Thank you so much for watching here at the caster's desk. We're going to go back to Nikita, back to the bar for a bit of chit-chat to wrap up the main stage.
Place your bets on more than 15 esports games. Deposit and withdraw easily using many worldwide payment methods. Place your bets live while enjoying the game. We offer 24/7 support and bonuses for every new user. Bet now on ArcaneBet.com.
Thank you very much, Squid and Hawker. What a great day casting from you guys. Another great day of Counter-Strike over here at the garage. We've had a wonderful conclusion to the Path to Santa Ana Group B with Pride winning out. Aggo yesterday and Pride today. Definitely close game. Some upsets with Kingwin being knocked out much earlier than expected. Windigo and Squed should feel very good about themselves. We're wrapping up here. Thank you very much from me, and we'll be showing you the highlights of the day just now.
I'm in way too deep and I'm drowning in the ocean. I'm lost, can't find a new emotion that's ever enough. And you can't deny it's real, 'cause there's no deeper never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go, never gonna say